to the Royal Geek Podcast. I am your host, Tyler Sweat, returning to the podcast. Glad to be back, guys. Thanks for letting me in.
Yes, you're here.
So glad to be here. And I am joined today at the table by, let's start at the far end down there. We like to call him Shamato is here. And also we are joined by Justin, a.k.a. Sandy, and my replacement, Applezax.
Yes.
Thanks for not butchering my name.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be back, guys. Glad to be back around the table with you fellas.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we are glad you could contribute and be a big part of this.
Yeah, for sure.
T rolls out obviously, and the location has
Sadly.
changed.
So you had to find a backup Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the only way to replace a Tyler is
With another
Tyler.
Tyler.
It's a good thing Tyler's grow on trees.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of us out there.
Too many, actually. Too many. But
Just one too many.
But yeah. So
glad to be here, and I think we're gonna have a fun conversation.
We are going to have an awesome conversation because we're about to do She-Hulk right now, episode 5, and honestly, I don't really know where you stand on this, so it's going to be interesting to see your takes in a little bit here.
I'll just throw in episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah, do a big dump. Yeah, please. And you know what? It might actually be a big dump. So
We'll find out.
we'll find out. Yeah, but before we start the breakdown for She-Hulk, let's go ahead and talk about some of the big news that came from Marvel's D23 panel. And you know what? We're going to throw a little Star Wars in there. I know it's a She-Hulk Marvel episode, but we're a huge Star Wars podcast as well.
Yep.
So starting things off with, we'll do Star Wars first just to get that out of the way. All right. So TV shows. We're gonna start there. All right, guys. I want to gauge your guys' Star Wars, hype meter for these shows. All right. The final trailer dropped for Andor. So that came out, and honestly, that trailer was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 3, which magnifique, man. That was
Can't miss. Can't miss with Mando.
But then the worst part about that trailer was it said 2023, and I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But it said early, so the
Right.
anticipation is January or February? I mean, any
be.
later than that, then I feel like
Which is really not that far away.
Yeah.
We're
We shall riot.
if you think about it, it's really not that far away. It really isn't.
Yeah.
But all right, so Bad Batch season 2 was also it said it was pushed from September to January 4th, so that's also 2023. But I'm excited about that. And they also announced another animated show, and it's a bunch of shorts, and it's Tales of the Jedi, and we had some footage, and it showed a young Count Dooku, and I guess they're going to tell some stories involving him. Mace Windu was also confirmed.
Yeah.
And we also got Yaddle. We got Yaddle's back.
Awesome.
On the Star Wars universe, so we're going to see more about Yaddle, because we don't obviously know a ton, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
maybe it's revealed that she's Grogu's mom. I mean, what if that's revealed in this little short? That could be very, very interesting. So, thoughts on the shows? Which one of those that was revealed kind of stands out the most to you? But I mean, Mandalorian, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most anticipated for
Yeah.
me. Of course, Andor does look really cool. I've loved these like intermediate stories they're throwing at us that are kind of filling in some gaps of the timeline between movies, big major movies. So all of them seem pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's Bad Batch, man. I'm
Bad
really
Batch, so good.
Yeah, dude. I'm really excited what they're gonna do like with this next season. The first season they did was like phenomenal. Especially like when they dropped like I think it was like Scorch in there.
Man.
Yeah, dude. If they're gonna bring in like Delta Squadron in, like
It's gonna get real,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
dude.
awesome. I can't wait to see it.
I mean, I've been a proponent of like learning more about clones in general for like since the moment I saw them in the Clone Wars TV series. I was like, I have to see, like, it was so intriguing to me, like the storyline and the idea of these clones that were fighting alongside the Jedi for so long, and all of a sudden they were forced into this situation. It wasn't even like, underhanded. They were like, okay, so eventually you're going to have to turn on these Jedi. It was, you are forced to turn on these Jedi. So it just always, like, the psychology of that always, like, kind of drew me in. But I mean, Mandalorian looks phenomenal too. But it's going to be really interesting just to see in that, how is he going to get bounties, or are there going to be bounties?
Yeah.
You know,
Is he going to be a bounty hunter right now, or is he
Yeah.
just going to be on a quest to, I guess, reinstate his status? I guess as a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I mean, we'll be here reviewing every single episode breakdown for
Yep.
Mandalorian season 3. So obviously, come back and check us out. All right, so transition here to Marvel. So fancy transition. There you go. All right. Work your magic sweat. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Nice. There'll be something in the video.
All right. So, Marvel. Let's start with Marvel movies. Okay. So they did. We didn't see it as the fans that were not at D23, but they did show the Ant-Man 3 trailer.
Nice.
And there was a lot of footage with that. They brought all the actors out on stage. Paul Rudd said something funny. Everyone laughed. Haha. We're good to go. Right. February 17th in theaters. That's going to be right around the corner too. I mean, it really does. It's right around the corner. So
there's a Valentine's Day dates.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Push it out a little bit, but yeah.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's T-Roll's wedding anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway.
We know what they'll be doing.
Yes. Ant-Man 3.
Ant-Man 3.
But the closest movie is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and from the footage that we saw, like the crowd there to watch the panel was like electric. Like the room was insane.
Yeah.
They were gracious enough to stream that part for us, the viewers. And but yeah, that was very exciting to. I mean, they got everybody on stage. They definitely had like a little Chadwick moment there as well. But November 11th, so we're looking forward to that. And then some an interesting one here. Captain America: New World Order. It was confirmed that Tim Blake Nelson will be back in the Marvel the Cinematic Universe as the leader. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how he comes into the fold, especially with an Anthony Mackie led Captain America movie. So I'm interested to see where that develops. Okay, and then two more. Fantastic Four. We fully anticipated the cast being announced, but that was not the case. Instead, they just announced the director, which is Matt Shakeman,
and kind of an offhand comment too. He was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, on
the side,
stand up. Yeah, that's the director. All right, moving on."
Yeah, I think it was definitely deliberate because I think that he knew the people that were clamoring to see that. But
the people wanted a lot.
We always do.
Give us more.
Give us more.
Yeah.
But he's the director of WandaVision, so. For the most part, the WandaVision I thought was a successful series. It just didn't hit that landing in that final episode.
Yeah.
So if he can keep the consistency of episodes 1 through 8 for the movie, then I think we're going to be in good shape there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you guys agreed with the WandaVision being pretty solid for the most part? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
in Matt Shakeman we trust. Okay. So all right, and then lastly, Thunderbolts. They announced the cast or the team, which I do feel like was missing some members in my opinion. But they did confirm that all of these actors will be returning for their roles. David Harbour as the Red Guardian, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is back as Val, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Florence Pugh, back as Yelena, Sebastian Stan. This one was a surprise for me. Getting Bucky back. What do you guys think when you saw Bucky Barnes is back as in this role, Thunderbolts?
Well, it was a bit of a shock with the rest of the lineup, right? Like he definitely stands out as, of course, he's a bigger deal in the greater MCU. These other characters we've only seen little glimpses here and there. But I was surprised to see him along with those guys.
Yeah, in a way, he makes sense in that role, but it also kind of feels like he's falling backwards a little bit, like into almost as a role as what he was when he actually was the Winter Soldier still, in the sense of being someone who potentially is being manipulated by a group of people. So it'll be interesting to see, or maybe they just put him in there to be like kind of one of the driving forces of being like, hey, we're being manipulated.
He's the Rick Flag, is what you're saying?
Maybe, yeah. Like he very well could be somebody like that. Like he'd be like, "Hey, we're getting manipulated, guys. Like I've been through this before. Something is wrong."
Nice.
I'm just, I think it's just cool that they get like 3 Captain America knockoffs in there.
Oh man, you're actually right, man.
Yeah,
Oh, and then they have Ghost returning from Ant-Man 2, Hannah John Kamen, and then Olga Kurylenko back as Taskmaster. So that's going to be interesting because I wasn't too keen on the reveal of Taskmaster at the end of Black Widow because, I mean, I don't know, I just felt soulless and lifeless, but maybe this is the redemption. I hope it's the redemption. So.
I do think it'll be a good idea to flesh out that character a little bit because she was just so underutilized as a character past being the actual role of Taskmaster was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
like the story was kind of like lackluster.
Yeah, I wanted more from the character.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'd have been interesting to see, or even if they revealed it, if she was given, even 5 minutes to like. You really see what was up with her.
Have a personality?
Yes,
yeah.
to have something there.
Exactly. So let's transition to the TV shows that they mentioned. So Ironheart, we got the cast joined the stage, but they didn't really announce a release date for that. Armor Wars, they did reveal a new logo for Armor Wars, and they did confirm that Don Cheadle will be back. Obviously, we knew that, but Loki season 2. Tom Hiddleston got on stage and he like stole the show. Like his charisma is room stealing, man. It's pretty incredible. Let's see, Echo. We got more from that. The premiere date is unknown right now, so a lot of the TV shows are no set dates except for a few of them. Let me see, Daredevil, Born Again. This was an interesting one for me because they came out and confirmed that it's not going to be like a continuation. It's going to be a clean cut like reboot completely which I feel like is going to take a lot of effort on us the fans because we saw 3 whole seasons play out with Charlie Cox and that character. How much of that are we expected to forget and how much of that are we expected to retain?
Yeah, it's definitely weird because it's like if it's going to be a straight up reboot, like why would you bring back the same people? Like, why wouldn't you try to find something to differentiate between the two? So like it'll be interesting to see how they set it up, with it being whatever it is. I mean, or maybe they'll do something crazy like it is a clean cut reboot, but by the end it's like, oh, like he lost, like he gets a whole bunch of memory back or something like that, and it's actually not a reboot. But it's just like he's had so much brain trauma from the whoopings he's taken
because he hasn't got his new helmet yet, right?
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. And then 2 more. There's a Halloween special, Werewolf by Night, and I thought this trailer looked pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting style.
Vintage style.
Like a little kind of vintage horror movie, almost like the super old Dracula, Frankenstein type of vibe, which I think is cool. It throws something a little different in there that's not quite the like fanciful Marvel kind of thing. It looked more like it was going to be kind of a thriller and almost like you guys know the game Clue, where it's like trying to find, of course, and the werewolf game, trying to define who or find out who the werewolf is. Literally. Here in this show, so it's gonna be really fun. Looks like,
and those standalones are always nice because you can do whatever you want. Like you can make, you can make a character like Captain America, who's the most clean cut person in the world. All of a sudden, he's the villain. Like you can do stuff like that. You can play with, how you see a character.
Yeah, but you said standalone, but I do believe this is going to have some sort of ramifications for the MCU as far as being introducing like the supernatural to the MCU because we have Blade coming on the horizon, and so he fights vampires,
which I think there's shootings to start for that pretty soon.
Yes, it does.
October, I believe.
Yes.
So right around the corner with that one. But I did think that the just the transformation scene that you saw with like the silhouettes in the background, like I thought that looked like really well done and shot
for sure.
But and then finally, I left this one for last because they dropped the trailer for Secret Invasion, and I kid you not, as soon as I saw that, we have a thread that we do for the podcast, and T-Roll said trailer dropped, watched it. And I immediately thought, like, this is going to be the best Marvel TV show. Like, Samuel L. Jackson was hitting on all points. We got Colby Smulders back as Hill.
Which looks awesome.
Yeah, we got a reveal of Olivia Colman's characters in it. We got Martin Freeman's going to be in it. Like, this is going to be star-studded. Emilia Clarke was revealed.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this, and this is like on the top of my anticipation meter for sure.
Yeah, definitely think it's going to hit up that espionage aspect really, really hard. And which was one of the best parts of Winter Soldier, which is amazing, and just you don't get a whole lot of that in the MCU, so it's cool to see that being brought into this and seeing potential non superhero elements playing out.
I'm so looking forward to that, guys.
Yeah,
Really am.
yeah, it's gonna be a great series. Like you said, a lot of anticipation. I think there's gonna be a lot of like shocks and stuff like that. It's gonna be something that you're gonna have to really like pay attention to.
Yes, I definitely agree. Agree. All right, so there's a little recap from D23. And now I think we need to move into the She-Hulk episode 5 breakdown, and it's titled "Mean, Green, and Straight Poured into Jeans." So
straight poured in these jeans.
Yes,
man, what a title!
Yes.
I chuckled right before I hit play.
Yes.
And all right, so it's full spoilers. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive into it. I'm interested to see your guys' reactions first. So, well, actually, the Sweat recap us on your full fried experience from the series so far, and be as honest as possible.
I'll be honest and I'll be brief. So far, I've had highs, I've had lows, more lows than highs. Just put that out there. It's been a fun show. Of course, I love anytime there's a fourth wall break. It's kind of one of my favorite things to see. Those kind of things, and the jokes they've made about Bruce Banner, being a different person than.
Yes.
Love all that cheesy kind of stuff. So far, I think the storyline has kind of, taken some steps forward and some steps back. I'm interested to see, I think, and I feel like I always say this with shows I don't like, I think the next episode is going to kind of take us hopefully in the direction that we're going with the whole show.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really seen that so far, but I realize they've had to introduce the character, introduce the concept, give her some lawyery things to do. So overall, I think it's still kind of a miss for me so far. Although there has been some high points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Markham, what are you thinking here? This episode.
I feel like this episode was probably one of the better episodes. I don't like the fact that it's still like episode 5 and it's just now like starting to take off,
Yeah.
I did like the fact that they brought in like the underground designer. There's more. There's gonna be more to him just than the fact of the helmet that we saw at the end. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm still following it. I'm still taking it for what it is.
Yeah.
Not expecting anything too crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so far I've started to acclimate to the show, and not necessarily in a bad way, but like we were saying at the beginning of this show's run, we were kind of expecting a certain type of show, and I think it's more and more showing up like I was saying in the last week or so that it's becoming more like an episodic. Like each episode is going to have a case that needs to be resolved by the end of the episode. And I think this is kind of how it's playing out today. This week just happened to be, Titania and the copyright issue. So I think it's kind of going to be like that way. Like they're going to be using these cases as the framing devices for the episodes for what either She-Hulk needs to learn, or introducing characters that She-Hulk is going to interact with, or, dealing with things that, She-Hulk has to deal with. So I think that's kind of how it's going to play out, where it's like, so like we've seen that in this episode. In the, in the previous episode, we learned a little bit more about, some other characters and things like that. And we, of course, were brought into the great word of Wongers. But I think that's kind of how it's going to play out, is they're going to use a case or maybe multiple cases as a framing device to show us how she's going to do it. And that's literally what they said it was going to be a lawyer show, and that's literally what they've been doing. So I think the more and more I am coming to the realization that that's really what they are doing, instead of what, us as fans were not going to listen to and just wanted it to be something that it wasn't. I feel like it's falling into that that thing. The only downside I would say right now is it still feels like it's a little too short. Like I want a little bit more in each episode, but that's just kind of how 30-minute sitcoms sometimes work.
Yeah, I believe this episode was the shortest one so far, and there was no like end credit teaser or anything like that.
Which I wonder why that was. I was thinking about that actually all day today. Like it bothered me. It really bothered me because the other ones, they had one, but I mean they weren't anything like substance. They were like, it was comedic for sure. But I just wanted, I don't know. I want a little.
Now
extra.
there was some fun stuff there in the end, little artistic drawings. I don't know if you guys saw those or watched those through. Some cool
I know.
stuff in
I
there.
remember. I'm trying to remember. I know what you're talking about. I know because I remember when I saw it. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And then
Like,
now
some of it was
now I
like
can't
the
remember what it is
knockoffs.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was what's his name? But he went and actually picked up the shoes that he was talking about.
yeah.
So the Iron Man
Now I
3s.
remember.
Iron Man 3s.
Now I
And
Yeah.
there's some little goodies in the background. I think we can talk about
Yeah.
later. But yeah, that was one of the things I actually have looked forward to each time to see what kind of silly, crazy thing they're going to do at the end, and then it just like cut to the Georgia peach, and I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
Nope.
Yeah. And I felt like it would have been really easy in this episode. All you had to do was, her open up the curtains and it be whatever the second item that the designer gave her, because that was going to be something probably that looks very similar to a She-Hulk like setup, because it was different than her
for
warrior
sure.
stuff. It was going to be obviously more likely her superhero suit.
Right. Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Right.
So that would have been a cool, like, nice little, like, short reveal. And it's just like, it could have been literally like 5 seconds. and
Which
it would
I'm
have been great.
sure next week we're going to start off with a fashion show kind of thing. Like that's just in my mind. I feel like where they're going.
I could, I
That's the
could see
flow,
that.
Yeah.
I will say, as we're on this episode, I feel like we're starting to see Jen's character develop and her struggle, her inner struggle.
Yeah.
That was something at the beginning. I was like, okay, they made a big point to say, the Hulk and Bruce Banner had that struggle between those two characters. And I feel like she was trying to start off by saying, oh, well, I'm not going to have any struggle. I'm not going to have any. But now we're starting to see this like value. Who's more valuable, She-Hulk or Jen?
Right.
And like, of course, with the witnesses of her would-be suitors, it started to get pulled out there. And I thought, okay, we're starting to see some character development.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because I think in a way it's like it's a different type of situation. Whereas the Hulk was dealing with this like what felt like a more like physical internal struggle, even though it was literally internal. But with her, it's a different type of struggle entirely. It's much more built around like what is the value of a woman in society in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it's built around is like. It's all about those type of things and like how they're seen and perceived. It's a lot about how you are treated when you are one way or how you're treated if you're another way, and how she's starting to see the other side of the world because she's, she can only ever see herself the way that, or she can only really see how people are looking at her in her one view. But now she has these two drastically different appearances. So she's seeing kind of both like, how the world has these separations depending on whether you're, this, just regular lawyer or you're this super powered supposed hottie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how you put supposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, too, how they like brought in like even like with her being like Jen Walters and then She-Hulk, like the society's still not taking her seriously in whatever role she may be in. So even when she is She-Hulk, oh, you're not an Avenger, you're not a top tier superhero.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah, you're at the bottom of the barrel, like who are you type deal. I feel like throughout this series they pointed that out a lot, especially in this episode. With her getting her clothes and all that kind of stuff. So you see her battling with that because she wants to be at that level, even if she doesn't show it in the series. I feel like she just wants to be respected. That's the bottom line. So
Yeah, I mean, she was willing to die on the like. I'm a lawyer, I'm a respected lawyer. Like she was like, that's not going to change. Like that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I mean, she just wants to be respected. That's true. Like for me, I actually thought this episode was the funniest episode for me. I thought so, at least. Nikki and Pug, I think they did a really good with their the off-brand
Oh my God, the
Avengers,
Avengers
and the Avengers. It was I enjoyed that whole sequence, especially when they walk into the boba tea place.
Yes.
And,
Oh yeah.
it's like, dude sent me here, and like whatever. It's like, huh, what, huh? And then back curtain, we're going back here now. Like I love that part, man. It was that was cool. That was funny. But I think as an episode overall, I think I'm still having the same issue that I've had with every Marvel series so far, and we're nearly halfway through, and I still feel like we've got a whole lot to explain.
Yeah.
We haven't really had a huge turn on the plot point here. Like what's the overall point of the series right now?
And
who is the villain?
Exactly.
Like,
that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, there's not been a clear, which I think we had the Titania kind of, she was a sub villain trying to set up for She-Hulk to really embrace this identity and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, where are we going now? Do we?
Right,
Which
exactly.
we had the little goons that were, we got to go back to boss, and so who's the boss?
Who's the
right. That's
boss?
kind of the big lingering question. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things I've like been waiting to see is the reveal of who's the actual villain.
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Which if they don't start doing something with that now, then I feel like it might
Right.
be too late by the end of the series.
Yeah, like I mean, who's gonna care about a villain showing up for half an episode? You know,
Correct,
like
correct, yeah.
like that type of thing. Although, I mean, I think it'd be a cool idea if they were to do something along the lines of like maybe Kingpin is really the villain, and he shows up, and Titania was kind of the setup that he was funding her or backing her, and they have a mafia style hit on her. And that would be normally her origin story, but she already has that as she already is a Hulk, so that fails because of the fact that she is already the Hulk. And then maybe through that she gets in, maybe that connects her with, Matthew Murdock, and that's how he ends up being a part of the series.
Yeah. I was getting a weird vibe through this episode, especially with her and her Titania and her cosmetic products and everything. I was thinking because when they were going through whatever showroom it was or whatever market where she had all of her stuff set up, it looked very chemistry. So the stuff looked like vials. So I'm wondering if this stuff maybe she got her powers through this, and then there's somebody
manufactured powers.
Correct. Yeah. And somebody else is backing her, pushing it, using She-Hulk's name. And so that being said, I'm wondering if these last two episodes are going to be bangers in a way.
Yeah.
And may even introduce someone like Doctor Doom, the person who actually gave Titania her powers.
Wow. That would be super cool.
You know who I don't trust in the whole episode?
Who's that?
Todd.
I
don't like Todd.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, his date was too he was researching. And,
Yeah, he was nothing can pierce your skin.
Yeah.
What about your blood? He was
exactly.
asking.
Yeah, and then this episode kind of doubled down on that a little bit.
Yeah.
He was
featured among the dates.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so I'm wondering if he's got.
Maybe he's hiding in the woods, and you're supposed to recognize the super misogynistic guy. You're supposed to recognize the guy that was super over the top about, or the guy that she ended up going home with.
Right.
But you're not supposed to really, pay attention to this loser, So maybe, and they did drop the term, and I don't know if it'll be in any way related. They did happen to drop the term broker. So I'm just wondering about I mean, and it could be literally nothing. It could be a throwaway line, but I did catch it, and I was like, well, maybe there's someone, maybe the power broker is somehow involved in this, in some way or another. Yeah. Maybe that's the person who's trying to get her, stuff, because Power Broker was very much involved in the selling and trading of superhero memorabilia / things like that. So they could be very much into that world. So I could see that as a possibility as well.
Yeah, it's interesting you say the broker part, because I did kind of do a double take. Wait, hold on. They didn't say power broker, right? And then no, they didn't.
No.
The drip broker.
The drip broker. That was fantastic. I did love the underground fashion scene, especially that the main guy, because I just watched Flight Attendant. Went through both those seasons. He's in it. He's a huge part in it, and he's probably one of the better parts of that series, that show. But I enjoyed that, and then. The fact that they convinced him to do it because have you ever done something that shrinks and grows, that kind of thing? And he's like, okay, I'll do it. And then Tinsley,
Take on
He's
the
like a challenge. A challenge.
Yes. Yeah, Tinsley, get this together. Get the. That's so funny.
Yeah, I've heard others kind of compare him to the MCU's Edna Mode.
Yes, I was just about to bring that. I was like, I like the fact that he kind of had that same kind of mad genius type of vibe to him that Edna Mode had. Yeah, it's the confidence and
yours is going to be number one. You are number one with whatever you do. Yeah.
And that there's nothing else and the kind of almost you see yourself so amazingly that you're willing to turn away a superhero because you don't think they're worth your time or your equipment.
Yeah. And so he's apparently so good that it's revealed at the end when he's like, Tinsley, you're leaving stuff, you're careless, you're leaving stuff everywhere, and it's Daredevil's helmet in yellow, by the way. In yellow.
Yes.
So that's revealed at the end. I think that was the big hook, the big draw, the big jaw drop. That's
for sure.
That's what I think everyone's been talking about. So I'm led to believe as a viewer that Daredevil's in the next episode. and man, he better be, because we need the intensity of Daredevil would help mellow out the I guess the nonsensical of the show for the most part. And we actually might start to getting a serious MCU show that might actually have some weight or gravitas to it.
Now, what's the episode count?
It's
nine, I believe.
nine.
Okay.
So we're on to 6
more to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What would be kind of hilarious is like she goes to break away, do like a fourth wall break, and he's like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" Like it just like something simple like that. Like, and then she's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just something ridiculous like that.
I have enjoyed the fourth wall breaks every single time.
Oh, they've been awesome.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's been
sure.
But it'd be like an extension almost of a fourth wall break to call somebody out while they're doing one. You know?
Yeah. I don't know if Daredevil's that character though. To be honest with you, he's a little too serious sometimes.
Well, maybe it's his enhanced hearing. He can hear the
okay.
through
Well,
the,
you know what? Actually, then I can.
Yeah. There you
go. Look at you sweat. That's why we'll bring you on every once in a while.
That's right. Glad to help.
But yeah, so this episode was, I think, for me, a little bit better than average, but nothing to write home to mom about. Like that's where I'm at on this episode. I'm really looking forward to what's coming next now, because I said it last week. I mean, Daredevil's still coming, so that's got to be meaningful. It's got to be worth something, right?
It better be. Like, I mean, it's got to be something, you know, along the lines of, and I do think it's an important part of her journey in general for her to meet someone who is a superpowered lawyer, and you know, because she's been so adamant about being a lawyer and being a superhero, or you know, like dealing with that struggle between those two worlds. So having someone who has been such a successful lawyer on his own right while being a superhero would be, I think, it'd be a very good learning experience for her to have.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the lawyer that represented her?
I thought that, you know, there was an interesting dynamic there. I'm sure, of course, there's already competition among the lawyers. We've seen that kind of in the it's at the beginning when, you know, she's like, I'm only doing this as a favor because we work at the, you know, trying to make sure that she understood I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Right. But toward the end, like, it seemed like their relationship kind of solidified because they had each other's back, you know, and they were able to win the case. Or to at least keep it from going to trial, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that overall, like that, seeing them work through that kind of relationship was pretty cool. Yeah,
I do kind of wonder about how she felt about Jennifer Walters getting hired in the first place. Like, it was this, like, going back to what Jennifer Walters literally said when she got hired, is this a purposeful, like, publicity hire?
Right.
Like, I'm wondering if she felt like, you know, maybe this, like, I haven't really seen anything all that great from her yet. Maybe this really is just a publicity hire, and now she gets into this situation that I'm going to have to risk my reputation as a lawyer to defend this person who's a part of our firm, which if it doesn't turn out well, looks bad on me and looks bad on the firm. And it's all because she was too naive to do something that, you know, is, I think, in the lawyer's mind, pretty simplistic in getting a trademark on that name.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely saw the competitive side of it, but I feel like this lawyer kind of like outshined like Jen. Like, she was she seemed very much more like experienced, more confident in her cases, the way like she presented the case and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, stylish. And then like Jen was just kind of like there.
Yeah, I mean, she did feel like that more like slick, you know, lawyer. More defense. I mean, it is kind of the difference between being like a defense lawyer and being a prosecutor, which is what she was before.
Correct.
So there is kind of like a difference in the way that the people act and the way that people like, you know, the personalities of someone who is a prosecutor versus someone who is a defense attorney. I mean, it's a completely different ball game, really. Yeah. You know, because, you know, as a defense attorney, all you have to do is like, all you need is like a shredded out. Whereas as a prosecutor, you have to be so meticulously like to every point, because you're fighting against a shredded out. Like, you can't have a shredded out, whereas defense lawyer just needs a little sliver, you know, to play with.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like Sweat said. I mean, their relationship definitely got better like towards the end, and I feel like she even like was going to be like more of like a role model look for Jen, somebody that Jen could like look up to and kind of admire type thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan, obviously. Her Hamilton days is fantastic. Okay, so any final thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I wanted to revisit the in credit artwork.
Okay,
that I mentioned.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm thinking you guys didn't see it from the fact that you're not freaking out as much as I am.
Oh, okay. Please
So
enlighten us.
toward the end, of course, we already mentioned. Mark mentioned that there was the shot where
Iron Man
Pug's
3s.
getting the Iron Man 3s, but in the background,
Oh, okay.
there are so many references to characters that I just blew my mind. There is a Deadpool pair of shoes.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
There is a Cyclops pair of shoes.
Oh, my goodness.
There is a Wolverine pair of shoes. There is.
How did I miss
Yeah,
that?
man. There's a Thing pair of shoes. There's so many references to other characters we haven't seen yet, and so it's really the first reference.
Yeah, of those
To these characters in the MCU.
Wow.
And-
okay.
Yeah. We'll throw the picture up in the video.
Please
so that we
do.
can
Yeah,
point
absolutely.
these out.
And those shoes are fire. So Nike, if you're watching this, dude,
Make it happen.
Make it happen, man.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
buy it. I'll buy
They're-
2 pair. One to wear, one to
Oh,
show.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, one to rock, one to stock.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so there's Spider-Man shoes. There's I'll show them. We'll look at it again after the pod's out. But I was surprised because again you're drawn to the Iron Man 3s, but there's shoes representing characters that we have not yet seen.
Yeah.
So
That's-
pretty cool
that's exciting.
to
That-
reference. Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that out, man. That was I completely missed that.
Yeah, me too.
I did watch this like super early in the morning, so
Right,
it was
yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I did. I mean, well, it's one of those things. It's almost like when you saw the Howard the Duck reveal, and like that was the reveal, but it was also to show, kind of hide the whole cocoon that probably had Adam Warlock in it.
Yes, of
Yeah.
You know,
Of
in the
course.
background, it was a nice little misdirect.
Well, so now we got to pay attention to things in the background of art, concept art.
credit
Yeah,
concept.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
awesome. I love that, man. So, anything else? Any other final words before we wrap up here? No, good there.
I'm all good.
All right.
Yep.
Anyone make a bold prediction? Anybody? Anyone courageous enough to make a bold prediction? No. Okay.
I think that. Well, I mean, my biggest thing would be I think Titania was created by something in relation to the company or the lawyer firm that Jennifer Walters works for.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So lawyer firm is corrupt.
Yep.
Okay.
And I already dropped Dr. Doom. So
Doctor, that's a bold
Yeah,
one.
dude.
That
That
was-
is
that
bold.
one-
That
That is a
That is
bold
bold.
That one-
prediction.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Especially
in
in
the
the
comics.
show.
It's in the comics.
I know.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make it happen.
Make it happen. Hatman, let's go.
Make it so.
All right. Well, with nobody has any further things to talk about, we'll go ahead and get out of here. And so, for Sandy, T Sweat, Apple's Axe, and Shimano, this is Justin signing off here for the World Geek Podcast, and we will see you next time, you peasants.